Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is the In Your Reach podcast. I am your host, Michael J. Watt Jr., and we will be with the great Mr. Matthew Manyak on tonight. Give me a second. I'm going to play a few commercials. Hey, my brother.
What's up? What's up? How's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing good. Doing good. As of
Can you hear me?
yep. Can you hear me? Okay, too.
Yes. Can hear you good. Can hear you
Yeah.
good.
Awesome.
How's your day going?
Yeah, it's been going good. As a buddy of mine would say, blessed and highly favored.
Awesome. So it's been a while since we last talked, and we've both been on a journey. But I definitely want to first take the time and say thank you for coming on tonight. And I want to, again, just be grateful for the opportunity, my brother, to be able to interview someone like you. So let us know who Matthew Manyak is.
So Matthew Manyak is we'll call him a Tony Stark type. uh, no, I am the founder of Double M Digital, which is a video production company based here in the St. Augustine, Jacksonville area here in Florida. I'm also the co-founder of Noble Vision AI, which is a AI marketing or AI automation agency and digital marketing company, also based here in the Jacksonville area.
Nice. So, with creating your own companies, what are some of the pros and cons to doing so?
So, it's hard to say, what is the pro versus what is the con, because the way I see it is it's everything's a choice, right? So, like, in choosing to start my own business, originally
Mhm.
Double M Digital, or originally starting with Double M Digital, the goal of that was, to be able to create a life that I didn't need to vacation from through video production. And
Awesome.
in many ways, I've done that. To the extent that, for anyone that has followed me on social media, and Mike, just like you and I talk about quite frequently, right? It's the or as you've seen, like, I'm able to travel the country, see all kinds of different places, and have all these great experiences in working with some really really awesome people. Um, but that also comes at a cost, right? There's
Yes.
those sleepless nights that I know that you've probably had as well. Um, it's the foregoing of you know uh, parties and gatherings with friends, because you've got a business to run, you've got
Yes.
moves to make, a grind to respect, essentially. And all of that is a choice. To some people, it's the travel's a pro, and to some people, the time freedom's a pro, right? And at the
Yeah.
same time, right, is it's sometimes the travel's the con, right? Because that's time away from family, that's time away from that social interaction, in a way. um but it's just a matter of when you go into business for yourself, you want to have, or I would encourage anyone that's thinking about going into business for themselves to have a clear idea of what they're stepping into, or as clear as you can, because I mean, it's tough to know something without having gone through it. But you know we read all these books, we watch all these podcasts, we watch all these videos that say, oh yeah, if you start your business, you're going to be working 12-hour days and all this other stuff. You're
Yes.
gonna have your sleepless nights. But it's one thing to read it, and it's another thing to experience it, and you find out very quickly if you're built for it or not. If And
Yes.
just speaking from experience, because
I love it, man.
sometimes
I love it.
sometimes those 12-hour days are your short days.
Yeah. I've been so in that, bro. Like, even with embarking on the journey of, being a father, being entrepreneur, being a still having a 9 to 5 on top of, doing all the creative things that we both do. Like, being in the military was like some days 36-hour days, 48-hour days, like 72-hour days, where it was like the day never ends. But I'm so grateful for the opportunity to be able to take a break sometimes, and not everybody's afforded that. So what is your typical day consist of? And I
So that
two-part question. It's a two-part question because of the double M digital side and then the Noble Vision AI side.
yeah. So I mean, it's I mean the days are honestly kind of the same, right? um, and most of that is calls and meetings and calls. I can't tell you specifically how many days in the past month that I've been on calls for 8 hours straight,
Oh wow.
nonstop, back to back to back to back. I mean, part of that is one demand, and speaking specifically on the AI front, right? Where it's a new and emerging technology, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of small businesses out there that want to take advantage of that opportunity, and we are here to help these small businesses to do that. And then same thing on the content creation side with Double M Digital is a lot of it is one demand, and two it's planning, right? Because if we're
Hmm.
going out, we're doing all these like the film shoots, the content creation, all that. We want to make sure that we have a clear
Yes.
plan, as far as what that entails and what's included within that. So it's
Uh-huh.
a lot of people think that it's just this uh, show up one day with a camera and press a button and then whip something together in in editing, right? But that's not that's not really the case, right? There's yeah, it's kind of what I call, or what I would think that the difference is between a videographer and a video producer, right? So a videographer is going to go in and put a camera on a tripod and say go. And where I come in more as a video
Yes.
producer, and multimedia specialist is, I help to curate that content that we're creating, right? So that way everything has a purpose, everything
Yes.
has a reason, and trying to always make sure that the shoot goes as smoothly as it can.
Awesome. Awesome. So when was the last time you had a difficult client? And what is your process on, either mending their relationship or setting ties with that relationship?
So it's tough because what some people would say is a tough client, I consider a learning experience, right? So it might be, it might feel negative in the midst of it, but at the end of the day, right, is it's what did this experience teach me, right? And I've had a couple experiences that have continued to teach me the lesson of take payment before you submit delivery.
Yes.
um, so
Yes.
when I was starting out, I recently made this mistake. This was actually probably a month ago now, actually. I had done a project for a client, and it was like it was a fast thing, like booked one day, shooting the next, delivery that same kind of
Wow.
week, kind of thing. Like I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. And um, normally I take payment during like the day of the shoot. That way it's, we're there, the footage capture is done, and then it's all right, cool, we're good. But
Yes.
I skipped that step of my protocol during this specific shoot, and I got burned for it. So still trying to try to figure out what's going on, and mend that situation. But it's a rookie mistake, which I shouldn't be making at this stage. But it's just the sometimes you try to be a good person, and sometimes it's just not what you need to do as a business
Yeah.
owner. So it's
Yes.
it's Yeah.
So, what is your favorite thing to do as a video producer, as a AI specialist?
That's tough, right? Because I enjoy everything with what I do. I meet a lot of people that enjoy just the creative side, but they don't really care for the business side. And then I've met other people that love the business side, but don't necessarily care for the creative side, or that's not their
Yes,
specialty, which is fine.
yes,
You got your left brain people, you got your right brain people. But I kind of find myself, in a very unique middle ground as far as
yes,
where I'm at and with what I do, in the sense of like being able to take it from the idea side, brainstorm with the client, and being able to um, what's it called, like brainstorm with the client, bring the ideas to reality and to the screen, right? But then also the back end side of it, it's like, okay, what's my P&L, right?
hmm
Am I
hmm
running this business as optimally as I can, right? And so it's that continuous process of continued development, which I enjoy. There's nothing
nice,
about what I do
nice.
that I don't
So,
like.
yeah, and that's one thing I love about you because there's not a negative impact. There's not a, you know, I'm having a bad day type deal. It's always, hey, what can I learn from it? How can I improve this? How can I, take everything that happened and make the best of it and still keep the Matthew Manyak look. You know what I mean? Like just the of, hey, I'm going to do what I can do with what I have. And like that's what inspires me most when it comes to meeting you and working with you. Like we've worked together for a while now, and like even like when we did the commercial, when we did the first shoe together, which
Yep.
I think we should definitely work on a part two for a shoe, um, because everybody liked the first one. Like I
Absolutely,
still get
absolutely.
a lot of compliments from the first one, and then just the experience that we had together was amazing. So I'm really loving how you approach situations and not crumble at the oh my, oh me, type
Yeah.
deal. But I want to say for sure, what is your biggest motivation when it comes to the creative side and then the business side?
Gotcha. So actually, really quick before we go into that question, I want to kind of go back to one thing that you had said about, as far as the not getting caught up in the victim mentality, and really going at things from that standpoint of there's no good, there's no bad, there just is, in our reaction to it, right? Um, I think that if you're going into business, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to have that mindset if you're going to be able to succeed and grow and develop your business. Because if you like, if you're in a situation where, maybe you have a difficult client, right? And maybe, there's a day where you're just like, oh my God, I am slammed on calls. Cause like there are days, it's like I'll be on calls for 8 hours. By the end of it, my brain is fried and I still got to go another 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's,
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
it's, you choose that life in many ways, but at the same time, you need to make sure that you're, I mean, one, taking care of yourself and all that, but um, like not every day is going to be a good day, right? And kind of what I guess transformed my mindset, about everything was, um, you know, prior to the COVID lockdowns of 2019, 2020, that time frame. Um, I was working on a feature film. Back then, my goal and intention was to go, into the Hollywood, studio career path, right? And then when the lockdowns hit, we were halfway through production on this film, and I was a good portion of money invested into that project at that time, and so by the time the lockdowns lifted, The landscape had kind of changed. We ended up finishing the film, thank God. But I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my emotional attachment to certain things during that time. Um, and one of the things that I learned was I was too emotionally attached to money, and I was too emotionally attached to the projects that I was working on in my
Wow.
film and TV space. Because during the lockdowns, right, is like, I mean, I'm sure we all remember. It's like, oh, we're going to reopen this date, and at that point, I was, trying to coordinate with the team, being like, okay, how can we, safely uh, resume production after the lockdowns lift, and we're, back in at least somewhat of a good place. But then we would have that date, try to coordinate with like 60 people, and then they'd be like, oh, we're extending
Yes.
the lockdowns another 45 days. Okay, time to go through that same process again. And then we go and we do that. Oh, we're extending the lockdown by
Yeah.
another 30 days. All right, let's do it again. Like it just, I along with, I know a good portion of people that experienced a similar experience, just went to a dark place mentally during that time frame. And yeah, it brought to light the emotional attachment that I had to money, and it brought to light the emotional attachment that I had to my projects. And after that, I kind of decided to step back and step away from, say, my own film projects
Yes.
and all that, and start
Yes.
working more so for and with other people on theirs. And it was from a project standpoint, it's great because it kind of helped alleviate a lot of the stress that I was feeling in that regard. Um, and
Yes.
like the part that also kind of did it in for me was, if we look at the like what the film would have cost to make had we shot everything in the span of a month.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
I I in 1 month, so we finished producing the project. I'd kind of decided, I was like, all right, I'm going to step away from, film and TV for at least a little bit, and then dive more
Yes.
into the commercial side of things. And the amount of money that we spent on the project, I mean, I'm
Hmm.
not going to say exact numbers, but it was a 5-figure sum on the project. Uh, Through applying that
Yes.
same skill set, working the same amount of hours, I was able to make that same amount in 1 month. So it
Wow.
was like, wait a minute, I can work the same amount of hours, stress a little bit less,
Less.
and
Yes.
make this kind of money. I was like, huh. So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna do that because that's a little like it's more sustainable. Um, and so I was
Yes.
like, all right, I'm gonna step back from film and TV for a little bit. And I mean, it's funny how the world works. You can take the boy out of the studio, but you can't take the studio out of the boy. And
Yes.
now I'm doing some more work with a studio up in West Virginia as well now. So I mean, on more of a freelance basis, but it's been a good time, a good working relationship. But all this to say that the moral of the story is being aware of your emotional attachment to money and trying to distance that, because
Yes.
if you're continually chasing money, it keeps, the energy flow gets clogged, right? If you're
Yes.
continually chasing,
Yes.
it's going to run away from you. But if you let it come to you, it'll come to you in like droves.
Yes. I love that you brought up the pandemic, and because I started my shoe company in the pandemic, and like at first I didn't have a game plan. I just said, you know what, we're going to launch this thing, and I ended up releasing all my shoes at once instead of doing it in a trickling fashion. And I mean, it taught me, hey, take your time. Creativity takes work and it takes a process. So like even in that, and then we even worked a few things during that. And I mean, but it was never a standstill moment. We still kept pushing, still kept working through things. And it was phenomenal. One of my friends, he has us in one of his songs. He says when he started chasing the bag, when he stopped chasing the bag started chasing him. So
Yep.
like that put me in perspective of what you just said. That you were so attached to it. But like I was attached to, my shoes at the start of it, just putting them out, putting them out, putting them out, and I was like, man, I'm like hooked. And it's like, yo, slow it down, one project at a time. But I'm loving this conversation because it's people are getting to see that, even with your schedules, even with your planning, you can plan all the way to the T. But any little thing can not detour it, but direct it, if you get what I'm saying.
Yep. It's like what is it? Murphy's Law. Anything that can happen will happen. um,
Yes.
there was I think this I was, if I recall correctly. I mean, don't quote me on this, but if I recall correctly, there was I was watching. I think it was like the Bourne Ultimatum, right? The Matt Damon spy movies
Yes.
from the 2000s,
Yes.
and there's a line in one of them, and it was like, "Hope for the worst, plan for the best." Or no, sorry,
Yes.
other way around. Hope for the best, plan for the worst. um,
Yes.
and so I kind of take a little bit of a switch on that, right? Is it's um,
Yes.
plan for the worst, hope for the rest, right? And so it's
Yes.
like if you go in and you have no expectations about anything,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
You go in and you have no expectations, you're not going to be disappointed
Yes.
about anything,
You're right.
right?
You're right. So
Whether that's career, whether that's a job, whether that's relationships, whether that's
yeah.
like anything, right? You just go into it with an open mind, and you're going to be much better off than if you say, well, go walk in it like if you walk into starting a business and say, yeah, I'm going to be a millionaire in 6 months. It's possible, but if you don't hit that goal or hit that target in 6 months, like don't get discouraged on one hand, but assess how far
Just
off you
keep
were.
working it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's about assessing how far off you were from that goal and what you can be doing better to accelerate and to then obviously eventually hit
Yes.
that milestone.
Yes. So in I have a question. So in all the places you've traveled to, where would you like to travel next?
Um, well, I mean, I am going to Wisconsin in 2 weeks.
Next.
Uh, I would say, but a place that I'd like to visit is eventually is Dubai. Eventually,
Nice.
I want to do New Year's Eve in Dubai one day.
Okay. 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 So in Dubai, is it more so for just the saying I'm experiencing it, or like business you want to do over there?
I mean, it's a little bit of both, right? It's like
Mhm.
you
A little
see all the sports
pleasure and a
cars.
little leisure. Yeah.
Yeah, like you see all the sports cars, you see all the the fancy stuff, the
Yes.
elites that live there and
Yes.
that work there, right? So in where you say, right, is it's
Say, right?
you are the average of the five people you
You
spend
are
the
the
most
average
time
of the
with.
five people you spend the most time with.
Yes.
So if you spend your time
So
with
if you spend your
five
time with
billionaires,
five
you're probably going to
billionaires,
be the
you're
six.
probably going to be the six.
Yes. Yes. And that's exactly where I'm headed. um, but that's amazing, man. So in this next chapter of Mr. Manyak, where do you see yourself?
Well, hopefully, I'd like to take a
Well, hopefully
vacation
I'd like
next
to take
year.
a vacation next year.
Yes.
Um,
Um,
I was not able to do that
I
this
was
year,
not.
which is fine. I accepted my fate long ago. Um, but I mean, like it's been a crazy good year. Like there's been a lot,
Hmm.
and I've learned a lot. But I'm also learning that I'm not immortal. I'm 25, but I'm getting gray hair. All right, so it's um, it, the importance of taking care of yourself is paramount, right? And it's a lesson that I learned. I mean, I'm glad I learned it
Yes.
now. But there was one morning a couple weeks ago. I woke up. I was nauseous. The room was spinning.
Oh
Migraine.
wow.
Could barely like drink water without like feeling like it was going to
Uh-huh.
come back up. Right. It was not fun.
Oh wow.
Cold sweats.
Uh-huh.
Felt like I had a fever, but I checked my temp and there was no fever. And all of that had to do with stress that I had put on myself. Um, Now,
Uh-huh.
in the same month, right, that happened, The same month
Yes.
I did $43,000 in gross revenue, uh,
Oh, nice.
pretty much as a solopreneur. But you know, it's like at what cost? And so that was a kind of another like little poke and a little prod of, you know, you can have money, but if you don't have your health, then what's it all for? So I'm learning,
Yes.
you know, I'm learning to delegate more because that's been the biggest thing for me was delegation. And anyone that knows me will laugh at that if they're watching this, um,
Yes.
about my lack of delegation and my reluctance to do so. But you know, I'm doing that now, and it's allowed me to continue to grow the business, which is great. So now
That
it's a
is
matter
amazing, man.
of doubling down on that, and you know, learning that what got you to six figures is not going to get you to seven figures.
Awesome. Awesome. So, how's your team doing when it comes to a day where you take off, or it's something that, you kind of double booked, or you just want to be like, hey, I'm going to take the day. You guys, here's the reins. You
Well,
guys take it.
I wish I could do that. I would say that, you know, I've spoken to a lot of business owners that are even much further ahead than I am. Right. I
Hmm.
have a mentor of mine. He runs a seven figure marketing agency out of Tampa, and for as as big as he's grown the business and all the success that he's had, like I was having this conversation with him recently. It's like there are no days off, right? There can
Yes.
be
Right.
down days and time that you set
Yes.
aside intentionally for spending with the family, but the business doesn't stop. The wheels are
Yeah, you're
always
right.
turning 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you know, it's like when most people I think start a business, a lot of it is um, for time freedom. It's like, oh, I want to get out of my 9 to 5 so I can run my own business and make my own schedule. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, eventually you can do that. Eventually you can do that. Now, it, but then it becomes the question of, do you do it, right? Because
Yes.
then you got to start to assess the opportunity cost. Because for every hour that I take off, I lose X amount of potential income, right?
Yes.
And it's like, okay, could I really like? Did I need to take today off, or could I have taken two calls today, right? And it's and because like you can make your own schedule. Again, it's a pro and
Yes.
a con. You can make your own schedule, but if you don't make your own schedule, then you're at the mercy of whatever you've got in the pipeline. And
Everybody
if you
else.
don't have a pipeline,
Yes.
yeah, because it's like there have been days where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna take this day off, or I'm gonna be a little more lax this day. But then you get this opportunity. It's like, oh, I can go make 4 or 5 grand in 3 hours. Okay, maybe I'll go
Hmm.
work that day,
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that, right? And it becomes again, it's just a trade off, right? Do you take the day off, or do you just kind of schedule it out to where it's like, all right, I'm going to give myself this time to focus in on something, right? And
Yes.
I mean the thing, speaking just from myself, right, is even on the down days, I'm still working hard on something else, right? Because
Yes.
I may
Yes.
not be filming, but I might be writing something, right? And it's like, all right, I'm going to
Yes.
still be honing in on something. But and if you're not writing, or if I'm not writing, then I'm reading, right? If I'm not reading, then I'm watching a podcast, or I'm watching some sort of educational content to like keep me up to speed on the industry and things like that.
Awesome. So, does learning for you ever cease?
No way. the
No way.
the
You're right. You are right.
if a day the day that I stop learning is the day that I leave this planet. And because it's
Awesome.
like there's a day that, or there's something that you can learn everywhere from everyone and from everything, and that doesn't
Yes.
necessarily mean that it has to be a new thing. It can be a repeated thing that you thought that you learned, but then you're like, oh wait, I didn't kind of
Mhm.
get it as much as I do now, right? um
Yes.
some days it's like a profound piece of like philosophy, right, that just changes your
Hmm.
entire worldview. Other days it's, hey, I realized that I can buy orange juice for a little bit cheaper at Publix than I can at Whole Foods or something like that. I don't know, but you know, it can be
Yes.
some, yeah. There's you know, there's no end to learning. I think, and because the world today is not the world that it was 24 hours ago.
You're right. The last 5 minutes change.
Yep.
So if anybody wanted to look you up, anybody wanted to stay in contact with you, how would we be able to do that?
So I would encourage anyone to go and visit my website, which is just matthewmanyak.com. You can also find me on Instagram at director double M. And you can also find me in Mike's friends on Facebook.
Yes. Yes. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm not going to hold you long, but I wanted to say thank you for coming on tonight. And I'll put your information in the comments, and I'll also put it on my page for everybody to see and make sure that they contact you for all needs that are needed. So God bless you, my brother. Thank you. This is an episode of In Your Reach podcast with my brother, my friend, Matthew Manyak. Everybody, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much for coming, my brother. And God
Thank you
bless
so much,
you.
Mike, for having me on today.
Continue.
I appreciate it.
No problem, man. No problem, man. And you continue to be encouraged, man, and continue to do and exceed and excel at everything that you do, man. So we will be in touch. This is In Your Reach. God bless you.
Sounds good, my friend. Have a great night.
You too.